What's up, everybody? Krydax here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3, where we've got lithium hydroxide, I think, all done and dusted. We know that our zinc acetate is low. Zinc chloride being low, though, I think it... Do I just not have it? Yeah. Huh. That's funny. How does that work? Is it really only used in one place in the entire base? Oh, that's boron trioxide. Huh. I guess we're just making it locally. Because it's basically just a zinc plate with extra steps. So it would be fairly easy to provide right here. How many tiles wide is this? 8? Okay. We're gonna go another 48. We're gonna go another 2 buildings. To get more zinc chloride. And then we're gonna do this. That's inconvenient. Let's do this. Like that. And then this. Just make sure it gets on the... Oh, wait. No, that's not right. Hold on. Hold on. What am I doing? We want it to be on the outside. So like this. There we go. I have no idea what the bots are doing there. I guess they're, yeah, deconstructing then reconstructing. Yeah, that's a 3-3 beacon, so they should be plenty fast enough. And then we merge this guy. What are these again? Coil cores? Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, some of the pYmods had an update. Nothing super crazy, except there's one change that's relevant, which is, get there in a moment. Gotta get this set up. Zinc chloride less than 4,200. Be good to go. Yeah, I think that's all we have to do. Using a lot of zinc these days. But again, I think we'll be able to keep up, because when we look at the actual usage here, it's only... advanced coding is called science coding? But I mean, look at the rate here. You know, it's 0.036 a minute. Ridiculously small amount of lithium hydroxide. What's it even go in? Not that. Where is this thing? Oh gosh. I guess it's gonna be faster if I just do this. It goes in lithium chloride, which goes in the lithium niobate, which goes in the bio batteries, which go in the science, I believe. Or no, they go in control panels and bots. Okay. But I think there's productivity on all those steps, which is part of why we need such a small amount. The other part of why we need such a small amount is that I just have a very small amount of bio batteries needed, I think. Yeah, 0.065 in the first place. So anyway, so what I'm looking at is there is a new change, which is retorters have a module slot now. Check this out. Retorters, not reformers. So these guys have a module slot now. It's only one slot, but still, that's a huge difference. Being able to, you know, get extra speed out of those is a big deal. Yeah, that exists to make bricks. So retorters. Just trying to think if I care at this point. I mean, I don't, because I already set them up for the way they are, but at some point, if they get any faster, I might care. These are not taking turns. Let me move a few over manually just so we can have a little bit of coated containers. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, am I just a Ninny Muggins? No, sort of. Sort of. Alright, here we go. Only halfway to being a cotton-headed Ninny Muggins here. Alright, there we go. I was like, something's not right here. This should at least have some coated containers. Alright, and now we're gonna do the lithium research. Should work fine. I believe we have enough science for it at this point. Yeah, we were at 3,000. Are we... have we not been making fat brains? We have 1.2k an hour. I'm gonna have to make that faster at some point, I think. Okay, but lithium hydroxide is done. And then, we do get limestone out of this. What can I do with that? Ha! You can delete it by doing this. Because you end up turning limestone into soil one at a time. And then that soil can be turned into muddy sludge and then voided. There's a part of me that wants to do that. It's kind of hilarious. Otherwise, we can just... we could add sap and water to then void it. Are those my only choices? I mean, obviously we can just burn it, but I don't have any burnables right here. I could bring in rocket fuel. But I kind of like this method. It's kind of hilarious, so I'm gonna go for it. I do need a couple soil to get started, but then once we have that soil, we don't need any more. So there is something funny to me about this, so I'm going for it. So then we do need a washer as well. Washer and a dryer. And that's gonna make muddy sludge. That then just gets voided. And then the water. And then soil. Also, I should have... I think I'm gonna add soil extractors into my basic quest here. Probably 3 of them. And then I'm gonna add pump jack Mark II. Add 2 of those. And then... do I need anything else? I'm trying to think of what I use regularly. What was all this chromium for? Uh-oh, why did I bring... Because I needed... Initial, that's what it was. Mother liqueur. Okay. Alright, so anyway, we need some soil, that's done. And then we need this. And then we need like a chest here that this only inserts the soil if we have too much. And it only inserts the soil if soil's greater than 40. And then this does that. And then the limestone. Oh, this is one of those buildings. Got it. Limestone goes in there. And then that should work. And that will get rid of all the limestone one at a time. Really funny. I find that entertaining, I shall say. Okay. Yeah, I think that works. Alright. Lithium hydroxide should be good to go. So now we're waiting on antimony silicate? Ah, interesting. Thought we made that. We did. Didn't request it though. No, I did. Okay. Diving into the investigation. We're only providing 100 of it. Alright. Would you like to explain why? No longer making Teos because we no longer have silicon as an ingredient. Now that is confusing. Okay. Mistakes were made. And mistakes are now solved, I believe. Here we go. There we go. Okay. I think that was it. And yeah, there we go. Antimony silicate is up and running again. Cool, cool, cool. So, lithium niobate is just chromite, sand, HCl, boron, more niobium plates, and helium. I will say I haven't made helium yet either, so that's part of this. By the way, we need even less lithium hydroxide than previously thought. 0.024. Gosh, that's such a small amount. 0.018 a minute. In 1,000 minutes, which is what, 30 hours? No, 15 hours basically. We only need 18 advanced coatings every 15 hours. It's basically 1 an hour. So we should be fine. It seems like a lot, but we should be fine. Now, to be fair, we don't have exactly those ratios yet because we do need prod 2 for that. So that's not quite right. The hot solution also needs to be connected here. Okay. And we need that. Yeah, and the rest should be a loop. So that should just make sure there's some in here. Basically, if it all gets vacuumed up into this building, this one will make more. And it'll make more until we have enough to finally loop around, and it'll all be fine. And then it'll just work its way through. That's a really cool idea. I like things like that. I'm enjoying those types of recipes. We are going to need comouts and alien bacteria. We're going to need neuroelectronics. I don't remember if we need Fidais. And what's the kickout upgrades? Kickout. Did we look at these? I feel like we did at some point. Oh yeah, the heating systems. It allows for a different bedding recipe. Dried grod. It requires 4 times as much dried grod. But then 1 kickout instead of 1 yotoi leaf, basically. But then 1 wood and 1 fiber and 25 formic are all very cheap. So I don't know if that's worth it. That seems iffy at best. And then what was this one? We add in saline for getting some free seeds. In this case, yeah, it's still just adding saline. It also goes faster. That seems pretty decent. Oh yeah, we get extra seeds out. I forgot about that. And then what's this one? Oh yeah, this is the one that gives you something else on each layer. Now the Renea one is actually... That and the Cridrin could be potentially good. Like... But when do we get Kickalc 4? It's not until Pi 4 Science is when you could get the Cridrin one. But I'm like mildly curious if that's actually a valid way to make Cridrin instead of the actual way. So at that point, let's say we're running Cridrin 3 for argument's sake. That seems like a very good recipe. Or a turd. You use twice as many Arthurians, but that's it? There's got to be a downside to that one. That's too strong otherwise. Alright, so let's just say... Cridrin... 5 a second. And then the other option is... this Kickalc turd. And tier 2, tier 2. I guess we should... Oh, there isn't Cridrin tier 2. Weird. There's no upmarked Cridrin. It's only 25 buildings. But, I mean, look at these ingredients. That is quite a lot of stuff for 5 Cridrin versus 16 flora, 11 bones, 8 fish, 5 fertilizer. I guess I forgot about the seeds, though. So that does double down. So we have to make an extra 50%, and then an extra 50. It's just 200%, I think. So once I look at it this way, huh? Oops. What? Wait, what happened? Oh, there it is. Okay, so 5 Cridrin. 5 Cridrin. And we're comparing these two. Which one's better? Honestly, that Cridrin one by itself feels like that could be the truth. Sorry, this needs Cridrin seeds too. I missed that. I totally missed that. But So that makes this no better then, because this also needs to be 200%. Little scroll bars are very annoying. Why are those happening now? I'm not sure where those came from. Not there on this one. Why is it there on the other one? Anyway, so now we're comparing this. 60 biomass is a lot, but we can easily make that from the absurd amount of kickout we're producing. 50 clay is basically free. The 50 kickout seeds are not free. We do need to make those. As well. It's only about 10% of our output here. And since kickout's not the primary output anymore, that actually is free. I don't know how this shakes out. Ulrich cubs are definitely easier than Arthurians, but we need 3 times as much fertilizer, but we need no fish and no bones. And then phosphorus acid, this is relatively easy as far as things go. So it is a lot of pure sand, but again, these are crazy huge numbers. Like, we wouldn't need 5 Cradron a second. It's just for comparison's sake. So I should probably shrink the numbers because I'm getting lost in the weeds of like how big these numbers are, rather than just comparing the 2 recipes, which is what I'm wanting to do, which is really like, would I rather do 3 times as much fertilizer, no fish, no bones, no flora? The number of buildings is basically the same. It's actually slightly more with Kickalc. But if I get Kickalc Mark III, I think this would be a lot more competitive. It's definitely competitive. I'm not sure if it's like super good, but it is competitive. And then I'm guessing the Yotoi one is not very competitive, because Yotoi is not that hard to make. And the only other one I want to look at is Renea. So let's look at the Yotoi just real quick. I'm like 90% sure this isn't worth it, because Yotoi is basically free. So there's no way this is going to be better. But you never know. So let's say 5 Yotoi a second. Tier 2, tier 2. Tier 2, tier 2. So we're looking at 37.5 versus 8. Yeah, I mean, that already is bad, right? Just the number of them is way too many. You do get some cadaverics, but I don't think that's worth it. So yeah, I'm gonna say no go on that one, and then Renea. Renea. Let's compare to recipe 3. Yeah, I get that in Prod Sci. So that seems reasonable at this stage of the game. So recipe 3 versus this. For 2 Renea a second each. Wait, what? Why is... Oh, because it's linked. It's like, why is that not letting me type? So let's see. These numbers are hard to parse. Let's go. Renea 2. That's not very many buildings. Once we're at tier 2 buildings. Yeah, this is gonna be a no-go. Alright, that's not a great Kickalc turd. Because the problem is these lower tier ones are not set up, like they're still the same slow recipe. So getting 2 guar out for that slow of a recipe is pointless. So really the only one that could be competitive is the one that goes really fast, right? Which is the Cridron. In my opinion, these ones, these lower tier ones, because this is such a late turd, like this turd doesn't happen until Pi 3. It's this late in the game. I feel like it should revamp the starting recipes as well, rather than keep them the same. What it should do is make like 30 guar or 50 guar instead of 2, right? And now it becomes a whole new ball game, because even though it's a slow recipe, the speed at which it makes guar is competitive, right? And you wouldn't maybe use it for your primary kickout, but you know, it's like maybe a reasonable way to make guar now instead of a guar plantation. And I know that maybe feels a little weird lore wise, like why is it making more guar than kickout? I don't know. But have we still not got the silicate? Really? Has this really not gotten to like 500 yet? I guess not. This is pretty slow. It's like 1 every 3 seconds, so it's only 20 a minute. All right, anyway, back to lithium neobate. I need helium. How do we make helium again? Let's just actually add it in here. I think I only have the one way for now. Yeah. Okay. So helium is just this one option. Purified air, and there we go. This is the process. No prod allowed. So that's it. And I'll break that into its own little sub block. Now we get other ways to make helium. So I think the question is, do I need helium for anything else before we get further into the game? And I think the answer is no. Because I'm not doing renewables. That's wind power or whatever this is. Or blimp power. I don't think those are that good. I could be wrong. I might need it for erbium. What is erbium used in? Now that's weird. Why is erbium processing unlocked in Pi 3? Because the only places it's used is in prod sci. Huh. I don't love that. That feels a bit unnecessary. I guess it's a way to use rare earth pulp, which maybe you have from something else. Yeah, maybe it's to get rid of your rare earth pulp to start processing it. But it certainly isn't necessary at this stage. And then... let's see, what else is it used in? Electronic stage 4, Yoto, metallics 4. And then... yeah, this is all prod sci. So, no, there's the lithium neobate. Yeah, okay. Basically what I'm getting at is the only thing I need helium for until prod science is to make this exact thing. So I might as well make this in the same place as the lithium neobate. So... and should I just make this in the same place? Because it's such a tiny amount of lithium hydroxide, putting that on trains feels crazy. Like, I would move 1 stack at a time, you know? Which we could do. There's nothing wrong with moving 1 stack on trains. We need gasoline, liquid nitr. We get the nitrogen back? Or no? We get dry gas stream out. What does that make us? That does nothing for us. Eventually, it turns into highly purified gas, which then we can turn into helium-rich gas and rich gas. Helium-rich gas can be distilled down into crude helium, which can then be further distilled down into actual helium, so that's pretty good. And then the rich gas is actually used in a couple places. Huh. But we can also just make that from purified natural gas, which is super easy. So this is more just freebie rich gas, but this would be the main way that I make it when we need it for liquid rich gas or for upmarking these animals. Liquid rich gas is another way to make helium. So that means we can just make helium basically from this process, purified natural gas and ethylene glycol. Huh, interesting. Anyway, for now, this is all fine. I'm importing the liquid nitrogen. This feels like one of those, I should do this because I already got gasoline anyway, and now we just have all of that canceling out. And then I can just vent the petroleum, and I can vent the dry gas stream or keep it. I don't know what I want to do. The real thing I don't know what I want is, do I want to do this here or somewhere else? And kind of leaning towards somewhere else. Is this used in again? The lithium niobate, that's right. Okay. So lithium hydroxide. We'll request 200. We'll make it 2 stacks. And why are we still not running? Antimony silicate, that's right. All right. And then let's get a new sheriff in town. Let's keep going over here. This feels like an area where we're doing a lot, and we can easily add in more fluids. So let's add in a requester. Beep, 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 beep. If I can find it. There it is. Okay, requester. And then we've already got the provider. We've already got fluids. So we just need to add more fluids. Like so. Make sure they're all attached. And then make sure we've got pumps on something crazy like tailings, just to make sure we're not going to accidentally pump the wrong fluid into somewhere. And then attach these up. And everything's powered. Okay, so there's room for 4 new fluids. We're going to need liquid nitro. We've already got syngas, hot air. Do any of these overlap? What do we need? We actually don't need liquid nitrogen. I just need gasoline. And that's actually it? Wait, and hydrogen chloride, which I already have. Cool. Okay, so I just need gasoline. I think 50,000 is more than enough. And that's all we need to make the helium that we need. Okay, I need to fix this blueprint. This is bothering me. I'm gonna put it like right there so it just connects with other things better. And then blueprint book. Let's see. This one. Bot request. Select new contents. Save. Okay. And then surely the silicate is close. I just want to watch this mother liqueur thing run. We're at 11. It's literally getting delivered right now. Here it goes. Here's the salt solution. Perfect. Our first hot solution. Here it comes. Hot solution. Get ready. There it is. Boop. Okay, that'll do it. And now it's just a matter of getting 100 of that. It's interesting this got 0 hot solution. Because it is connected. They're both connected. So all of the hot solution went to this instead of sharing. Which isn't how the new pipes are supposed to work. I'm curious why it worked that way. I guess the amount is so small that it's not doing any like sharing because this is taking all of it on every tick. But as soon as this backs up on Mother Liqueur, which it will once it gets to like 200, I think, then this will stop vacuuming up the Mother Liqueur, and then this will have some inside. And then at that point, this will stop running. So we should see this figure itself out pretty soon. And then it'll make the first stage, but then this will then eat more, and then it'll make the second. So this way it'll make sure there's enough of all the green fluid in the system so that they can all run at the same time. A clever design, if I do say so myself. And then once it's got enough, I could just delete this, because it will never run out. Now, there is the question of, like, do we want a bigger buffer? A bigger buffer would allow buildings to run at slightly different speeds. We do have the pipeline of 100, so we kind of almost want it all to back up and have each buffer full all the way along the way. And then a tank for the Mother Liqueur at the end to be dumped out. And so we could create that buffer by having this run if Mother Liqueur is less than like 1,000, and then there's always a buffer of 1,000 here, at minimum. So yeah, now we're capped out. So now the hot solution's gonna go here. Okay, maybe not. Maybe there's something else wrong. Or is it just taking that long? Oh no, it was just taking that long. There it is, our first analyte. Yay! Alright, yeah. There we go, and that works its way all the way through the system. R3, R4, lithium carbonate. That dumps Mother Liqueur back into the system. And our first lithium carbonate has been made. Look at that. So cool. Yeah, I might make this less than like 200. And that'll keep things buffered up a little better. Cool. Alright, so lithium hydroxide's actually done. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alright, anyway, back to where we were making stuff. So this is gonna get... this is the channel 1. I just realized I'm right-clicking too fast. Because if you go really fast... This channel 1 has way too many construction bots in it. 17 is enough that I'm willing to go over there and save it myself. That's crazy. If you click as fast as I was clicking, I was canceling the get rid of them request. And that's why it was taking so long. I have to right click slower. I didn't realize I was canceling the cancel. Anyway, I guess I need to do this to pull them out of channel 1. So why are they not... Okay, now that's confusing. What? It says there's 17 in this network, so why are they not coming to here? Oh, gasoline. Gasoline, the vampire queen. There we go. But actually. Oh, that's why. It's tier 1 bots. That is a actually good explanation for why that was happening the way it was happening. That's funny. I didn't have that one on my bingo card. I guess I should have. Now these rates are all pretty small, so I'm gonna keep the default at 10, and we're gonna go activated carbon at 11, and we'll just go 13. Why not? And then we're gonna go biofilm. It's a stack every 25 minutes. I don't need that much. And then that's literally it. Okay, that's tiny. And then we've already got the HCl, so now we need chromite sand, also small amounts. And then we need niobium plates. Medium amount. Boron, small amount. We are making boron, I believe. Just making sure I got all the numbers right here. And then that should be it. Done. Oh, lithium hydroxide. And then I'm gonna allow the requester chest to be the buffer. If I just request 15 in the chest, there's 10 minutes of buffer, and the train doesn't need to be part of that. Because a whole stack would be, what would that be, like 70 minutes of buffer? I think we're good otherwise, unless I missed something, which, you know, I probably did. But yeah, so we can set this up. Let me deconstruct some trees here. And then we'll just set this up real quick and fancy. Quick and fancy, more like quick and dirty, is what I meant to say. Okay, that's the recycler. We'll do that one last. So it starts here and then goes here. Let me just get the buildings all plopped down. And then this one is gonna have 2. And I'll beacon those maybe better than the other ones. And then I'll flip that one so it's symmetrical. And I don't think, yeah, they don't need to be separated because all this stuff is out on the sides. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've accessed everything. So I can do this. We're just gonna exhaust that. This guy goes here. This guy goes here. This guy. Oh, that's kind of weird. It goes in and out on the same side. These look the same, but they're not. Oh, that's annoying. The icon's exactly the same. Cold, clean air, and purified air have the same icon. If it's a... No, it's a slightly darker blue. But that's too similar. This one is different enough you can actually see the difference, right? There's like a dark purple blue. This blue and this blue are far too similar. So I don't like that. I think they need to make that a little bit more discernibly different, in my opinion. But yeah, that can just go down to there. And then the petroleum gas can be exhausted. And then we need a pressure pump. Oh, that's something that should be in my logistics. These ones I do place fairly frequently. Nice to be able to place them out of nowhere. All right, and then this one is the exchanger for the nitrogen. So then we'll do this, which is kind of cool because we can exhaust the steam. Wait, does steam exhaust? Yeah, we don't need boilers. You used to not be able to. That's why that popped into my head randomly as an intrusive thought. You used to not be able to exhaust vent steam, which is kind of funny. And then we need water. Did we need water somewhere else too? Yeah, right here. And then this did not need water. Dry gas stream. We only get half as much as helium anyway. 10 becomes 100. But that's kind of expensive anyway. So I'm never going to do it that way, right? Because I can make directly to the highly purified gas. Wait. No. Hold on. No, wait. What am I doing? Sorry, I can go directly to rich gas alternatively, and that's way cheaper than this ethanolamine thing that needs a bunch of methyl acrylate, which we know is not cheap because of all the silver, and alien bacteria, which we also know is not cheap or easy. So why would I ever do that? Because by the time I'm gonna need a new version, I can just make the other version of rich gas. Or not the gas bladder, sorry, I can literally already make this version. And so as soon as I can turn rich gas into helium with this, maybe this one's really late in Prodsci? No, it's not even that late in Prodsci. Why would I not just do this? Why would you ever do that other version of using up dry gas stream? Maybe it's a hard mode thing, but that's just silly. Yeah. I don't know. There are a few of those hard mode ones that, in my opinion, would be better off being buffed, because then they provide an interesting reason to exist other than I just have to delete this thing somehow. Like in my mind, that's not a very interesting reason for a recipe to exist. Like, obviously it's necessary in hard mode, but that doesn't make it interesting, right? Like, even for hard mode players, it's not a choice. It's not something interesting. It's just like, well, this is my only choice to delete this thing. So now this other recipe essentially has an added cost because I have to use it to delete. I have to use these other ingredients to delete the byproduct of this other output. So like in that sense, it changes the cost of certain recipes because now the byproduct has a cost associated with it. But what it doesn't do is create choice. And I think choices are the most interesting part of pyanodon's. And having a recipe that exists but doesn't add any choices, I'm not sure if that's that interesting. And you could make it interesting by having an actual a balance that's not necessarily like super powerful, but at least competitive in the sense that there's a world where you might use it instead. I think all recipes should be at least that powerful. And if they're not, they could use a buff. That's just my opinion, you know. Not everybody shares it, I'm sure, but let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll go this way. Okay, so we'll make our first liquid nitrogen this way. And then I'll probably just let this liquid nitrogen buffer because it's 10 times denser. So each of these represents 1,000 gaseous nitrogen. And then from there, I can just have a small tank. I also use a lot of these small tanks, so I should probably have these just always living in my inventory. So is there anything here I never use? Actually, no. I guess electric... No, I even use those sometimes when I need to make steam. God, Gosh, that's crazy. I actually need more hotbar space. I kind of wish there was an option to make it wider rather than taller. Like, I think I would appreciate like a 3x15 more than a 4x10 or 5x10. Because then it would be in line with this one, and that would be kind of visually appealing. Because I just need more space. I use this as my inventory for all the popular things. Okay, anyway, we've got those requests, so now I need the biofilm and the nitrogen here. And then we need a bot network attachment. No good? Oh, no good, because that's not channel 1. That should do it. There we go. Cool air. Okay, hold on. I need to do this and then this. Uh-oh. That's annoying. Okay. I just want to fill this up a little bit more before we're done with nitrogen, so it has more of a buffer. Wait, are we out of water? We actually are. Well, the nitrogen is the holdup, but that's because we've got a loop here. Yeah. Where's helium? Oh, that's the one thing I can't click on? That's funny. We'll click on dry gas stream. How about? Yeah, so that's the holdup, not the water. The water's fast enough to keep up with those two. Though, if I... Interestingly enough, that's not quite true. If I beacon it, it won't be. So we'll actually toss a module in there just to give it a bit more oomph. Still not buffered on nitrogen. I do want to get buffered on nitrogen. And then helium is now being made. Sweet. All right, so that's all done. What is this? Nexalit? Where are my Nexalit patches? I've got another one over there. That one is still huge. I don't see a reason why I'm ever gonna need more than that patch. I've also got that patch. And one over there, and one over there, and one up there. Yeah, we can just delete this one. I always get scared dragging ore eraser over important infrastructure. Just feels like it's gonna erase something else on accident. I've never had it do that. It just, that's like my fear says it's gonna do that. You know what I mean? All right, and then we need these two. Requester. Sure, 10 of each. Oh yeah, we said we were gonna do 15 on that one as the buffer. And then do that. I can delete the chloride request because that's inter-building. And there we have it. Lithium Niobate is done. And then we put that as a provided thing. At 3 a minute, I think like 5 stacks is plenty. It's not very expensive though, is it? Like what's the actual cost here? I think the actual cost is pretty low. Yes, there's science coding in there. I think that's so funny that advanced coding is called science coding. Science coatings, I like calling it that, are not that expensive. Let's go to 1,000 just to be less likely to fail to request because the threshold's too big. And then we need smaller prod modules here. And that should do it. Helium. Takes 3 tries to get a USB plugged in the right way. You know what? Kids these days, ... you know a sentence is going to be good when it starts that way. Kids these days aren't going to know the pain of USBs plugging in the wrong way because USB-C is now a thing. Like, as I think about it, I'm like, when was the last time I plugged in a normal USB? And it's really just for my PC. Like, I pretty much use USB-C for all non-PC things. And here's what's really crazy, and it makes me actually quite sad. Kids these days don't use PCs. Like, they don't know how to use a mouse. Most kids are growing up without a desktop computer in their house. And that's just weird to me. Like, it's so weird, and I understand it, and I know that there's nothing, like, inherently wrong with it. It's not bad, it's just different, but I really, like, am a little bit of an old man shaking his fist at the clouds with that one. I'm like, are you serious? Like, kids don't know how to install software on a computer. Like, some of the most basic things that, like, I grew up doing, it's just, like, I don't know. And it's weird because, in a sense, you know, it's the most technologically advanced generation, right? But in a different sense, we've regressed. Like, kids know less about, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. You guys know what I'm saying. But it is a bit odd to me, I think. This will this is eating all of our nitrogen right now because the buffer's catching up, I think. But that buffer's filling up, so we'll get there eventually. In fact, is that enough? I mean, I've got 90 plus another 60. That's 1,500 nitrogen buffered, essentially. Plus the purified air is buffered. Plus the cold air is buffered. Plus the cold clean air is buffered. So then the hang up. I just need to make sure there's enough nitrogen that things are never not running because there's no... But there's only 2 steps to the nitrogen, right? It goes from gas to liquid, and then it goes from liquid to gas in 1 step. It's not like multiple steps to get there. So yeah, I don't actually need a big buffer here. I can just remove this. Because this will essentially re-liquidate all of our nitrogen immediately, and there's enough of a input buffer of the liquid nitrogen that this will always keep up. And then, yeah, that should be fine. I guess the water needs to have its own buffer, weirdly enough. Because this uses up a bunch of water really fast, is 666 water, in fact. You know, it's funny that rounds incorrectly. Surely that's rounded wrong, yeah? Yeah, that's rounded incorrectly. I wonder why. I know they do circuit numbers that way, and that part makes sense to just concatenate. What's the word? When you chop off the last digit. Why am I not thinking of what word that is? It's not concatenate. It's culling. That's not the right word either, but it's oh my gosh, what is that called? I think it starts with a C. Chopping. When you chop off the decimal, no matter what it is. Which has the effect of being the floor function, but that's not the word I'm looking for. What is it called? What is it called? Oh, it's right there. It's right there. I'm about to Google it because I know what this is, but I can't think of it for some reason. What is that called? It's called... Oh, it's right there. It's right there. It's right there. Let me distract myself for a moment. Okay, lithium niobate needs a few researches to get there. Are there any other researches that I need sooner rather than later for reasons? Am I gonna need Vonixes? Oh, for prod sci I will. Not for modules, I don't think. I probably should start on Kamouts, on spinning those up, if anything. So that's one that I think I can safely say, and we have enough research for that. So we'll start on Kamouts next episode, I think. Okay, what's the word? I'm gonna Google it. Let's see. What is it called when you chop off the decimal digit on a number? Truncate. It did have the kate with the C. Concatenate, truncate. I guess that's just the 8 part. Concatenate, truncate. Anyway, truncate. Truncate. That's the word. Truncation, not concatenation. Anyway, lithium Niobate is done, and biobatteries are next. When do we get the biobattery unlocked? After Kamouts as well, so we're kind of on the way to that. I guess that's the route we're on right now. Cool. All right, so working towards biobatteries is the thing, and I think we'll call it an episode here. It was a pretty successful one. We got a whole build done. I don't know, we're like not all that far from being able to make modules. I think we're actually farther in terms of research time, like the amount of time it will take us to do all the researches we need. I think, yeah, because we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours. And that's more than 12 hours because that's like 2,000, that's 2,000, these are 1,700s. So we're gonna need to up our vat brain production rate, I think. I think that's what we're gonna be doing. And then maybe we're gonna upmark a couple things while we wait or something. So if anything, I should probably increase my production rate now. I don't think I need to increase it by a lot, but a little bit. Zyopho larva is low because of nanofibrils, but I think that's just a buffering issue. All right, we need to call it an episode. These are also still recipe 1. Oh, because I decided the blood meal was crazy. And you don't even get that much more. It's mostly just for a speed boost. Yeah, Zyopho's a weird one. You only get like 12% more Zyopho. Does not seem very good. The larva one, you do get a lot more. I guess we should make... Okay. Blood meal is a byproduct. I'll work on that in the next episode. Alright. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see y'all in the next one.